Thompson Speedway checks in at just 5/8 of a mile, but boasts some of the Northeast's best motor racing. Checking in, rather bringing in, the South late models. Oh, well, we have Paul Strickland. Right as this guy, okay, he's completely. This Paul Strickland guy checks in with his Walmart headset right as I go to completely mess up my own intro. And Vidane TV, unfortunately, could not be here this evening in their production form. He's plugging in his headset right now, and I was already messed up, but he messed me up even further. Point is, we're taking the South late model stock to Thompson, which might be a long shot in reality, but it's a favorite combo among many on the iRacing.com sim, especially among Northeastern drivers like we have this evening, because it is the 51 Designs late models at Thompson Speedway. Of course, welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Thompson Speedway. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Paul Strickland Jr. joining in moments, joining us on the mic this evening. And of course, broadcast coverage of the Turn 4 podcast, 51 Designs Late Models. This virtual rendition of such a historic venue is brought to you by Backup Spotting this evening, 51 Designs, Turn 4 podcast, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Paul Strickland Jr.'s Walmart headset that he is plugging in as we speak. It is good to be here at the virtual Thompson Speedway. Paul will, I'm sure, be chiming in at some point here in just a moment. This is a very unexpected broadcast for us this evening at Pit Stop TV. We did not expect to be back on air again in 2023. However, we are here one more time before the new year. And I think, Paul, did you find the USB port?
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Have we got Paul Strickland Jr.?
We do. We're doing it live. Take a look here at the Thompson Speedway. Really cool racetrack, and Paul, I think this is one of the best ones on the sim. It's kind of a hidden gem in my opinion. Really long straightaways, really tight corners, and some of the weirdest banking you'll find in short track racing.
Oh, absolutely, and it's one of my favorite tracks because it's actually one of my home tracks from Connecticut, up in the quiet corner up there. So it's really cool to kind of see the iRacing, all the iRacers out there, and a lot of these guys in the Turn 4 podcast are from the Northeast area. So really cool to see some of these guys race at their virtual home tracks.
Yeah, never before have I just used one club in the point standings sheet like this. It's just New England, New England, New England, New England, New England. I won't go through all 10, but New England across the entire board. Nathan Wenzel does come in with a points lead, though, 6 points over both Matthew Kimball and Justin Prescott. Mike Hopkins just one more marker behind in fourth spot, and then you get a bigger gap of 9 points back to Daniel Sweeney. Now, Paul, you know these guys. I don't, although I recognize a couple of names like Mike Hopkins and Corey Casagrande. Who do we need to watch for at a track like Thompson this evening? Because clearly you can pick the top 3 in points. Those are your favorites maybe, but it goes a little bit deeper than just that.
Oh, it absolutely does. And one of the guys that I like to watch in both the Turn 4 podcast series as well as the NEP series that we usually cover on Thursday nights over at Vidane TV is Mike Hopkins. Magnum Mike Hopkins, Microburst Mike Hopkins, Magic Mike Hopkins, whichever nickname you want to go with. He's going to be the guy to watch because it's a lot of times when he gets out on the racetrack, it's almost like a microburst goes through. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but it's always, always, always entertaining.
We'll see how things work out. I do want to say Skylar Shippey fastest in practice. That is ending in about 45 seconds. Rupert Thompson second, Nathan Wenzel third. In fact, we can bring down the point standing sheet and take a look at our practice times, or I guess our practice leaderboard. Anyways, Skylar Shippey first place in this practice session, wrapping up again in about 30 seconds. 24 cars in all. It's a pretty large amount when you come to a place like Thompson. Finding clean racetrack at this point, that's a rarity, although these guys are still finding some clean tracks. Shippey, though, finding the wall to turn 2.
Yeah, last few moments here in practice, this is where you're going to see it, the guys kind of push the issue just a little bit, just to kind of see where the limits of the race car, the virtual race cars are. And a lot of times you'll see them, they kind of get up into the wall just a little bit, kiss it just a little bit, get real close, just like that onboard shot right there. The heat race, what does that say? The heat race heroes. How about that in the front of the 24 car?
I don't think we're heat racing this evening, are we? You got, again, you know these guys. Tell us what we're going to be seeing this evening on Pit Stop TV. Kind of a special presentation for us. A league we're not familiar with, but get to learn a whole lot about this evening.
pretty cool little collaboration between Pit Stop TV and Verdane TV. The first, well, not technically the first time you and I have worked together at a real racetrack, but the first time we've worked together here on an iRacing show, and the first of many to come, I hope, because everything's looking A-OK here on Pit Stop TV. Going to be cool tonight as we get ready to go. Got 5 minutes on the clock for qualifying. These guys are going to get 2 laps to try and get themselves a good time, and we're going to be taking the top 20 times. They're going to be running in the big show here tonight in the Thompson 75. And after that, we're going to be running a quick little Conti, a little last chance for romance, as it were, to see which other 6 drivers are going to jump into the field here tonight. And we're going to get some racing here. 75 laps on the docket here at Thompson Motor Speedway.
Speaking of Thompson, Aaron Thompson, car 19, headed down the back stretch. This is lap number 1 for driver 19 as he works through turns 3 and 4, comes across the line, and Shippy will go straight to the top of the board. We'll see who moves around from there. We've got a couple of Thompsons. It looks like our Thompson, Rupert Thompson goes second, Aaron Thompson goes third, Cody Parker, Eric Lorandro, and everybody else now chipping in with their times in qualifying. Time's going to go quick, and track temps are going to matter. Give it a moment. When one of these notifications goes away, we'll take a look at track temps. 78 degrees at the virtual Thompson.
And you can see just how tight those times are up in the top 4, top 5, about a tenth and a half of a second. And that's on lap 1. You're going to see more times jump on in there. Our Thompson up there in the 39 car in second for now. Going to hold on to that spot for right now. The other Thompson, those guys are actually brothers, still both up in the top 10. It looks like they're going to comfortably make the show here tonight and be able to kind of sit back for a few laps and watch a little consolation racing here on Pit Stop TV.
On board, Daniel Sweeney, lap 1 in the books at 20.102. And driver 12 only jumps up to the 21st position. A few others hitting the track now. DJ Girard leaving the pit lane. Kyle Buck hitting the racetrack. This is lap number 2 for Buck. Now he goes 21st quick. Carter Chamberlain and others hitting the racetrack. In fact, Chamberlain comes in. He looks to have invalidated every single one of his lap time attempts. But Nathan Wenzel, our points leader on the racetrack.
And that's one of the tough things here with iRacing. If when you get out there on qualifying, if you make any kind of contact with the wall, the grass, anything off track, any kind of incident point, as they call it, it disqualifies that lap. And you have to basically reset and try and get going on that second lap. And you only get 2 here in the Turn 4 Podcast iRacing Winter Series in these late models here at Thompson. So got to make at least one of those laps count. The 03 close, tagged the wall just a little bit with the back end of that car.
Real close there to the outside wall. Going to carry speed, though, through 3 and 4. I don't know if he got the wall or not. We'll see across the line. Wenzel, 9/1000ths of a second slower, maybe. It adjusts. 19.762 will be the lap of record. It does pick him up a little bit, but stays in the same 8th place position. Here's Rodney Huntoon, car number 47, 19th quick. And it looks like he will stay that way. DJ Girard on track. This is lap 3 wrapping up for him. He goes a bit quicker. I don't think that's going to change anything. Might jump to 16th. No, he'll stay 17th.
Yeah, the big boss man in the 09 or the 0NH car up from New Hampshire. Big boss man running this league, runs the Turn 4 podcast, and the Turn 4 podcast, they were off this week. No new episode on that, but be sure to check that out next week. New episode drops every Tuesday, and you can check that out while you're waiting for us to get everything sorted back out over on Verdane TV on Wednesday night, as we're going to get back up there from Daytona. We finally got relaxed in here in the hotel room right across the street from Daytona Speedway. Pretty excited about what's going on this week. And man, I really appreciate you jumping on board here tonight, helping us out. And I'm pretty excited. First time you and I are going to be able to do this iRacing thing together. And I think we're going to do okay.
Yeah, you mentioned we have that previous crew experience, if you will, with Pit Road TV and USLegendCars.tv at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So, of course, more Northeast racing. It was good to get up there and see some fall colors. This a bit different, though. As opposed to Legend Cars and the New Hampshire Motor Speedway Road Course, of course, late model stocks at Thompson Speedway. This is a really cool place to go racing. Let's circle back to that. Thompson International Speedway, as it's labeled in iRacing still. That's an old name. Really, really cool racetrack that I feel like is underused, a little bit underloved even. If you will. It's maybe in dire need of an update, maybe a rescan to get that road course in there, but it's such a cool place to take any short track car, even some of your NASCAR stock cars, and go racing.
Absolutely, and it's one of the tracks that was really, it was with, I want to say it was with iRacing the day they dropped, what is it, 10, 15 years ago now at this point, maybe even longer than that. So one of the first tracks to really get scanned with the iRacing service, and definitely would be would benefit, I think, from a rescan to be able to get a little bit more details, get it updated just a little bit, and uh, kind of get a little bit more of what's at the track now. And out of our hands right now, but we could probably call iRacing and make them suggest it in any sense.
We need more love to our Northeast racing. I can think of racetracks that could use a rescan or remaster, like Thompson, like Stafford even. We really should have got Beech Ridge before it went away. There's a lot of racetracks up in the Northeast that I feel like they're just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Hopefully, one day we can get some of those updated or in the sim for the first time. But cars on the racetrack, in fact, 8 for our little LCQ, as you mentioned. Its build is Heat 1 in the sim, but let's go ahead and go through your 8-car lineup. Paul, 8 cars, here they go.
8 cars on track. You can see Daniel Sweeney in the 12 car going to roll off on the pole. Mark Creighton in the 77 going to roll off on the outside.
Third and fourth, Eric Laurendeau in the 46 car, Ryan Carmen in the number 08, and they will have a pretty interesting opportunity there lap 1 to try and make some moves.
How about this? A pair of Kyles back here in row number 3. Kyle Buck down there on the inside in the number 5th position in the 5 car, and the other Kyle on the outside.
Dominic LaFleur and Carter Chamberlain. That's row number 4 of 4 as our field gets ready to go green flag racing in just one more lap. Lights out. 1 to go for the field. Again, this is our kind of LCQ, as you alluded to. Is
8
there
drivers on track and 6 going to make the call.
Number?
6 drivers going to make it in. 26 car field for the big show here tonight. 75 laps on the docket, but before we get there, got to get through that last chance qualifier. And man, oh man, glad everybody's able to tune in. Hope everybody's holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving was fantastic. New Year's coming up. Hope everybody's staying healthy and safe as that pace car takes the safety road down onto the pit road, and we're going to get a little green flag racing here on a Wednesday night.
Green flag, 10 laps the distance. We race off into turns 1 and 2. 1 car not making the call. 7 it is for 10 laps. Already through turns 1 and 2. Sweeney got the jump.
You can see side by side down the backstretch, heading into turn number 3. The 77 car up on the high side. The 12 down in the bottom. Still door handle to door handle as they thunder off turn number 4, and they cross the stripe. 77 to Creighton. Gonna take that lap, but is he able to hold on to it? Not quite clear enough to get in front of the 12 car.
Creighton now going to clear Sweeney, and into third, we've got Laurendeau going for a spin into the grass, hangs onto it just, and he'll do some lawn care down there in car 46, now shoves the 72 up the racetrack. We've got some fighting right around our transfer. Laurendeau now holding it after that interesting situation there, lap 2.
A little steel cage racing, as they call it at Stafford Motor Speedway. I guess we can use that at Thompson. It's the same state. These guys beating and banging on each other. They race with each other all the time, though, so they almost know the limits of the cars, limits of the drivers. So it's it almost looks like it's chaos, but it's a controlled chaos as these guys get these simulated cars around the track.
Look at the wheel crank for Carter Chamberlain there. He is abusing those front tires. The right front going to be screaming here in a couple of laps. Driver 72 is starting to fall back just a little bit, and Kyle Buck now making the call to the racetrack finally. Started from the pit lane, it looks like a couple of laps late, but he's here. Car 5, he's accounted for as Creighton goes fastest.
Getting the repetitions in, trying to get a couple of laps in here at Thompson, and hoping somebody falls out here in the top 6, because the top 6 making it to the big show here tonight. And you can see Kyle Buck 2 laps down here on lap number 5, already halfway through this 10-lap contest.
A little fighting starting up now for the 5th and 6th positions. They are safely in the race, but anyways, here goes Ryan Carmen. I actually think he's losing the spot to Eric Laurendeau. The 46 car going to drive on by and take 5th back away, moving car 08 to the bottom transfer position. Ball 4 laps to go. Time is ticking. I think Carmen's safe so long as he doesn't wall it too much like he did there out of turn 4.
Putting on a show here for us in that 08 car, going up, kissing the wall there by the start-finish line, and doing everything he can to try and make up a little position. Maybe he's doing a little bit of homework, seeing how quickly he can get up to the back bumper of the guy in front of him, see if he can maybe push him out of the way or intimidate him a little bit, try and get him to loosen up in the corners. But man, it's crazy to see that these guys are able to really beat on each other in the side of the in the corners.
Still nose to tail, 5th and 6th position. The transfer, thankfully for Carmen and Laurendeau, not much of a fight right now. Not so thankfully for Carter Chamberlain, who's back there by a few seconds on these drivers now. 4 or 5 seconds as these laps go on. 2 to go. Up front, a little bit of a fight, but this is the best racing on the racetrack. These two for 5th and 6th.
Absolutely, and you can see the 08 car doing everything he can. Carmen's trying to get up around the 46 car, can get to the back bumper. You can see kind of diamonds the corner off just a little bit of a late apex there as we take the white flag, white rag, 1 lap to go here in the Conti, and the 08 car trying to put on a show here for us, but drops back into the tire tracks of the 46, going to settle on down, and it looks like Mark Creighton going to make his way in that 77 car around 3 and 4 for the final time in this consolation race. He's going to take that checkered flag, a little bit of bragging rights, and well, now he knows what his car is going to do here in 10 laps at Thompson.
Carter Chamberlain will be the first one out. Kyle Buck will be our second car out, finishing 8th place at the end of our consolation race. And that's how she boils down nice and quickly for us. 10 laps done and dusted. A big shout out, by the way, to 51 Designs, Backup Spotting Services, Turn 4 Podcast. Without them, these kinds of races would not be possible. It's important to support those who support racing.
Absolutely. Whether it's real racing, sim racing, you got to support the ones that are putting on the show. And we appreciate, again, everybody tuning in here tonight. A little bit of a collaboration show here tonight. We've made mention a couple of times here tonight, Pit Stop TV jumping on in, saving us here just a little bit. I thought I was going to be able to produce the Verdane TV show here tonight from a hotel down here right across the street, as a matter of fact, from Daytona International Speedway. Wasn't in the cards, so made the quick phone call. And, man, again, appreciate you jumping on here tonight. And we're getting lined up on the front straightaway. You can see the cars making their way out to the track, lining them up 2 by 2 all the way through. We are getting ready to go feature racing here at Thompson.
That we are. Position number 1 on the grid, Skylar Shippey, fastest car in qualifying, got that first spot locked down. Rupert Thompson rolls off from 2nd.
Row number 2 consists of the 04 car, Justin Prescott down on the inside. Tony Quadro is going to be in the 4th position.
Starting 5th, Matthew Kimball, car 43. He's tied for 2nd in points. Jimmy DeCourcy, he starts from 6th.
Row in behind them, the inside, going to be Sean Boudreau in the 1 car. The 03 of Nathan Wenzel, the points leader, going to start in 8th.
9th and 10th, row 5, Caden Roberts, Aaron Thompson. Aaron's got some good naming rights going his way, starting from 10th spot.
Yeah, the Thompson brothers here racing at Thompson Speedway. We're probably going to get that confused once or twice here throughout the evening. Rodney Hunting in the 47 car, starting 11th. 12th going to be Garrett Benson.
Chris Lindquist, and Cody Parker. That's row 7. All the way back here, 26 cars. We're through about half of it. Big field.
Stockwell there. Yeah, big field here tonight. 20 cars on time. JD Stockwell starting 15th. 16th going to be Dylan Zulo.
17th, 18th, Eric Pomasco, DJ Gerard, and car number 0.
And the last 2 cars to make their way into this show on time going to be Mike Hopkins in the 78 car, one of the drivers to watch here tonight, and Andrew Harmon in the 14, rolling off P20.
Last 2 cars going to roll by as we take the green flag. Paul, take it away.
Mark Creighton, Daniel Sweeney going to roll off 21st, 22nd. Dominic LaFleur, Kyle Kenny. As we take that green flag, we're racing here at Thompson. You'll be able to see the rest of the starting grid go through its loop down to the bottom of the screen. We got action all over the racetrack already. These guys 3-4 wide here at Thompson on lap number 1.
Yeah, everybody all over the place trying to get those spots in the first lap. It's going to be Shippey taking away lap number 1. Rupert Thompson 2nd, Justin Prescott 3rd. Everybody else filing in behind. First battle, Quadros on the outside, Kimball inside.
And you'll see these restarts here at Thompson Motor Speedway are a little bit on the wild side, but as you can see, kind of getting it sorted out pretty quickly. Front 3 cars able to get single file. First side-by-side battle going to be for 4th.
That's Quadros on the outside in the LFOD Chevrolet. Kimball being held down. He's better on corner entry, as he would be on the bottom side. But, of course, topside momentum rolls down the straightaway. 75 long laps, your tires will get worn out. You got to settle in early. That topside, though, I think is going to be the way to go.
Absolutely. I believe these guys have 1 set of tires down there on pit road that they're able to change throughout the feature. No tires here at Thompson. That's right. We're running a shorter race here tonight. So, going to be about tire management here tonight. 75 laps. You can make it on fuel. You can make it on a set of tires. But like you said earlier, you got to kind of get it sorted out early on. Get a couple of laps in, feel the car out. You don't want to abuse those tires here early on in this one. We're working lap on 4.
The whole field ripping by our speed shot now down the backstretch. This is your lead fight. 3 cars in tow. Quadros a little further back, but really it's Shippy, Thompson, Prescott, your top 3 racing for the lead at this point. Quadros can get in the conversation. It's a little ways back after that fight with Kimball. They finally get single file through most of the field. First side by side looks like it's JD Stockwell and Chris Lindquist. It's for 12th spot.
Racetrack. They've got it all sorted out throughout the top 10, 12 almost. You can see taking a peek down low on the 35 front row seat here for JD Stockwell on that car, and you can see really sawing on that wheel, getting a little bit loose coming out of the corner.
Dominic Lafleur looks like having some connection difficulties in the back part of the field. That's going to be tricky for some guys to get around. Car number 3 sticking with us, though. Eric Lorandro going to have to deal with that the most. In car 46, he came through that Consi race. And he's now going to slip up. Here comes Kyle Kenny, but up front, things staying just about the same. Although, look at car 04, Prescott starting to fall off.
Yeah, you saw Thompson there in the 39. Take a peek down low on Shippy in the 51 just to try and get a little bit of clean air on the nose of that car. There's a good shot of the back bumper of our leader. And there you can see the gap, about 0.3 of a second, maybe 2.5 or so, depending on which end of the racetrack we're on. And you can see Thompson just really kind of tucked into the tire tracks right now of Shippy, doing his homework, trying to figure out what that 50 wagon car is doing. You can see he's moved up the track just a little bit. They're kind of running that middle groove up to the high and then shooting off to the wall as they come off turn number 4. 2. I'm on the wrong side of the racetrack.
That was 4.
Was it 4? Okay, I was on the right side.
You know, it's a pretty confusing looking track from some of the cameras. I don't blame you. Really, no matter where you put a camera here, it feels like you can get lost sometimes in the way the track is constructed, and that grandstand being so far back off the outside wall. Really unique structure here, but lap 11, 10 laps complete. I'm going to turn back to the weather briefly. 79-degree track temp now. It's coming up a little bit despite being in the dark of night. 74.7 degrees outside, ambient temp, partly cloudy. Some of that heat starting to build as this race goes on. We could see that temp elevate even more. Going to get harder and harder to maintain those tires.
And that's a big thing with this iRacing service. Coming a long way since they first started way back when. Dynamic track surfaces, different tire models, there's heat everywhere. So you really got to make sure you take care of the tires, take care of the car, and take care of the track too. And you can see another great onboard shot here. These guys are really sawing on the wall, on the wheel, in the corners, and it seems like the entire field is found a little bit of grip up in that middle to high groove. It looks like most, if not 3/4 of the field is up in that lane.
Yeah, really everybody's starting to run higher up the racetrack. We'll see some good looks here for some of the static cameras. They enter real high, kind of dive off into the top side. There you go. Nobody touching that newer pavement down low, except for maybe a couple of left sides, middle of the field. They're trying to find a little bit of grip to battle. And then you see Creighton go through it. Otherwise, really nobody touching that newer pavement down low.
You know, you gotta love those static shots, those speed camera shots. We were actually just talking here at Pit Row TV at dinner. Speedy Camera, MVP, most valuable player and employee of the month. Never missing a shot with those static cameras.
Well, the speed shot gets paid the most cheeseburgers, as Tony Stevens would maybe be apt to, but really, there's nothing changing in the top 10. This is rare. It's kind of like that hurry up and wait kind of deal. Everybody's thinking about equidistant. Nobody's really gaining or losing anything. We haven't had any trouble on the racetrack. I will knock on wood for us here, but nothing is really changing. Everybody is racing the racetrack right now. That's rare to find, difficult to find in a late model league like this, so that everybody tapping the wall to turn 4 are definitely on the edge of grip.
A little follow the leader there at that point. You saw the 51 Shippy get up into the wall, give it a little bit of a touch, and it's one of those things, if you're concentrating, if you're really looking at the guy in front of you, if he goes up and hits the wall, a lot of times you're going to fall right in the tire tracks, right up in there, and it's almost a little conveyor belt action. As we see, everybody knows they have to get to the end of the 75 laps if they're going to win this. You got to show up with the car. You can see a little bit of a connection issue still in the middle of the pack, and you know as well as I do, with sim racing, with iRacing, just like real racing, there's a lot of electrical beams that could happen to the car or the virtual race car. Internet could go out, the power could go out, whatever the issue may be. And a lot of times if that happens, the drivers around you kind of struggle to see where the car's at. So it adds a little bit of extra anxiety for these drivers to deal with.
And I think that adds the missed anxiety of it being in your own race car that you work on in your own garage out back of the house. What iRacing lacks in having to fund your way through racing and work on the car itself, sometimes you get a little bit of in connection difficulties. You have to make sure your internet is going to hold up throughout the course of the race. Your computer is going to hold up, your hardware. It's not at all close, but it's the best thing we've got in pixel racing, I'd say. And certainly, like yeah, and you know what? If something goes wrong, it's just like that mechanical failures. We've got our first caution of the evening. Kyle Kenny and Eric Laurendo in the inside of the racetrack. Laurendo still getting turned around. Caution number 1 finally coming out.
Pace car came out there quick. That scared me a little bit. There you can see some big time damage on the left front of the 46 car, as well as the 54 kind of tore up. Going to come down pit road and see if we can get the virtual pit crew to knock out some of that sheet metal and get back out on track. May lose a lap here depending on how bad the damage is. Nope, we're going to use a quick repair that we have here in iRacing and get back out there. So you might see that 46 car do the very same thing. He may try and stay out though and see if we can stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, that fast repair ever so necessary in big short track crashes like that. I know there's the old adage of, aero not being a big deal in short track racing. It is a big deal. If you stick your hand out the window at 50 miles an hour, you're going to feel it. So if you have a parachute of a hood, that's still going to matter. As there you see car 3 was having issues. Laurendo nowhere to go. That was Dominic Lafleur on the outside of the racetrack having problems.
And that may very well have come from those connection issues we've seen from that 3 car so far all evening long. A lot of times you try and finagle with cords and try and get everything worked out. You've probably got a lot of drivers out there yelling at you, hey, you're blinking, hey, you've got a connection issue, something's wrong with your internet. So you're trying to fix everything on the go. Sometimes you lose focus just a little bit, get up there, kiss the wall.
This is a lap further back, so we're going to see a lap and change here for the replay. Watch Lafleur. I'm interested by how the car kind of goes up the racetrack this next time around in 1 and 2. He's cranking a lot of wheel in this car, really turning the wheel.
And you can see down on that apron just a little bit, kind of using it like Stafford Motor Speedway. You kind of de-wedge the car just a little bit, try and get it to turn. And as you can see, everything A-okay at this point. As he gets into the corner here, though, you can see cranking on that wheel. It just goes high, high, high. Keeps going higher. Can't get that thing turned right. And by the time he does, unfortunately, another couple of cars were there.
Looks like maybe he just missed the corner entry. And with how much he was cranking the wheel, got up in the loose stuff, in the marbles, and the car just completely ice skated up the racetrack. I don't think he lost a tire. That's the first thing I thought. I don't see how you're going to lose a late model tire in 20 laps, but with how some of these guys are cranking on the wheel, I mean, this place wears tires. I could maybe see it. Thankfully, though, no tire loss there for car 3. He's still in it. Eric Laurendo gets his fast repair, I believe. No, he's going to stick it out with this damage for now. I'm imagining then he's hoping for another yellow, maybe pick up that fast repair later just in case something happens. Kyle Kenny, though, picks up that fast fix. He'll get back on the racetrack, albeit 1 lap down.
And there you see the difference is we're a third of the way through there. You take that quick repair, you lose the lap, unfortunately, and the 46 car kind of stayed out right in front of the leaders, and he's going to be on the tail end, hoping for a quick caution. We're lined up 2 by 2. There goes the pace car. There goes the green flag racing once again here at Thompson.
Nice and tight under the flag stand. There's your lead battle, though. Single file for the top 2. Quadros goes way back, loses 3 spots now off into turn 3. Here comes the 03 of Wenzel, your points leader, now making a fight on car 12.
Well, about that drone stop, the drone shot there from Pit Stop TV, taking a look at all the action, and that's one of those tough things with the 03 car, sliding back like that. There you see a little door handle banging with that 12 car. When you lose those positions like that, it goes through your head real quick. You got to try and refocus and get back on track. And a lot of times when there's stuff happening all over the racetrack, as we can see a gaggle of cars in his rearview mirror, it's tough to focus outside the windshield.
That it is. A lot of battling all over the racetrack. You see a quick snippet of it as they exit turn number 2. Quadros gets single file. Now our attention can focus back up on the leaders because Shippy has got some company this restart. Thompson much more on the 51 car than we've seen in a while. Prescott is there as well, and now Matthew Kimball into the top 4 getting by Quadros. Jimmy DeSorsi now as well. I mean, we've got ourselves a good little fight up here starting to develop, and now Quadros might be overtaken by the other Thompson. Aaron Thompson looking to get in the fight in car 19.
And you can see a little conveyor belt action here at this point. We made mention earlier on, these guys doing their homework, trying to figure out what their car is going to do, how everybody else is reacting to the other drivers, the racetrack. There you can see the 19 taking a peek down low, getting a little fresh air on the front of that car, and gonna see what what he can do with this 12 car of Quadros right up almost to the back bumper as the 51 of Shippy leads.
And Shippy starting to open that gap back up. Lap 30 now complete. We've completed a good chunk of this race. Tires are worn out. They don't have that option to get new ones. We're starting to see the cream of the crop, more or less. And some drivers starting to work through the field. Some drivers starting to just hang on. Kimball, I think, has got some decent speed. He's starting to come alive in the back end of Prescott. Watch car 43. Of course, he's up there in the points for a reason. Tied for second. He might have something here late.
And you can see the 43 car got in there just a little bit too spicy. He had to back off there in the last corner, but it doesn't look like it slowed him down too far. Gonna look on the inside of Prescott. Doesn't quite have the spot. Has to get out of the gas just a little bit. And of course he is there in the 74 car. You can see the SGP 43 backing up just a little bit. He's gonna have to switch from offense to defense here quickly.
And he does do exactly that, kind of gets up to the wall down the backstretch, kind of protecting that top side. That is oh so important here at Thompson. You talked about it from the get-go. Drivers trying to get up high, defend the top lane, get the run off of the corner. They can sacrifice that run into the corner. You aren't going to see many sliders here. There just isn't quite the banking for it. So really, you got to protect that run off. And already, car 43 is starting to do that as he goes back on the offensive a little bit there into 3. I think he feels comfortable. Clearly, he can get away from the 74 car and get back on the offensive on Prescott.
And you can see he's starting to creep back up to the back bumper of the 04 car. Not quite there just yet, but we still have a little bit of time on the clock. 40 laps to go here at Thompson, and you can see that we've got everybody's pretty much single file. There's a couple of guys towards the back of the pack that are single file, but everybody up front chasing down that 51 car for Shippy.
Rupert Thompson a little more on the 51 car for the first time in this run since the restart. He's gotten closer, closing back in a bit. Now as DeCourcy has got trouble from Quadros. Fights all over. I do want to highlight one other fight on the racetrack as Quadros goes underneath the 74. These guys back here have been all over, lighting up the timing screen. Car 1, Beaudreau. That's why. Sean Beaudreau having connection issues now. We could see another incident like we saw earlier as DeCourcy fights off Tony Quadros.
Those electrical demons, we talked about it earlier on. You get them with the real race cars, you get them with the simulated ones as well. Could have been a connection issue, power failure, really could have been anything. May have even unplugged his wheel accidentally. We've seen that happen a time or 12 here in the sim racing world where the connections just weren't there.
A timer 12, I like that. See, I use the same kind of, I usually do a timer or 3, a timer 4, but I like that one, timer 12. I have to up that number as here we go, fight for third. Kimball is there on Justin Prescott. Again, clearly this guy is high up in the points for a reason, car 43.
Absolutely, you can see really working both sides of the racetrack, high and low. Saw it on the wheel, coming out of the corner, taking a peek once again down low. Gonna fake him out just a little bit, try and look high, try and look low. He wants to get around. That 43 of Matt Kimball believes he's quicker, and you can see he's going to take a peek down low in the 04. He's got the position, he's up, and that right there is a perfect example of why these guys are protecting the high line. When you get down on that low side, down close to the apron, even lower below the apron there, trying to use that to turn the car on these older tires. We're on 41 lap tires here at this point for these drivers. It's going to start to wear, and it's really going to be tough to hold on to that bottom side. You'll see these guys start to kind of work up the racetrack, and that's why these guys are protecting. Ooh, second place car, Thompson, up into the outside wall just a little bit, and that may very well because those tires are starting to wear.
Of course, he got it pretty good there as well. And it's only just occurred to me, these two are your two tied for second in the points. So while Wenzel is further back in the field in 7th, these two are, what, 6 spots ahead? No, not 6. 3, 4 spots ahead, something like that, of Wenzel fighting for second place in the standings outright, trying to break that tie. This is a pretty important fight.
Absolutely, and you can see the 43 car rather, all over the back bumper of the 04, looking high, looking low. You saw he was hard on the binders about a half a lap ago. Almost ran, oh, the 08 car up into the outside wall. That's going to bring out caution flag number 2 here on lap 44. Here comes the pace car. You're going to gather up the field, and this is what that 46 car was looking for. Kind of limped it around since that last caution flag. Now he's got an opportunity to maybe come down pit road, get some of that damage worked on, and maybe take that quick repairs. We're past the halfway marker, about 30 to go once they get back around here behind the pace car.
Alternatively, this should open up the free pass for car 54 of Kyle Kenny. So while he took that quick repair, he'll get back on the lead lap now, although he will be at the rear of the field. Here's a bit of a replay now for Carmen in the 08. It's going a little ways back. Going to watch this develop. It was way back in the field. Carmen racing with the 14 of Harmon. He's up top, and then right behind him is that one car of Beaudreau. I wonder if that's related.
Solid maybe. Solid maybe. You can see the 08 drifting up just a little bit. Oh, gets in the quarter panel and just sends them on around. And that's actually a really good shot right there, too. We're talking about tire wear. Look at all the rubble up in the top side of this racetrack. All those virtual rubber balls. As these guys get up on the top side of the racetrack, where they've been most of the race here, we might start seeing that a little bit more. You can see it gets up in there, a little slow motion shot. 14 comes down just a little bit. That little bit of contact, unfortunately, in that part of the race car, you saw how hard he was on the brakes in that 08 car trying to avoid contact, but unfortunately a big hit for the 08.
And if we actually, we'll keep it slowed down here, I could circle what you're talking about with the all the tire marbles. If maybe somebody is newer to racing, all this stuff up here, not the greatest circle. Anyways, that stuff is what we're talking about. All of those tire shavings, tire pieces, all that kicked up rubber. It's simulated, just like in the real world. You would see that on a real racetrack. That stuff has zero grip. It's literally like taking the tire over marbles. There's no hope once you get up there.
And that right there, I gotta give you kudos, man. I've been doing this for a little bit of time. Oh, there you see that hard. It's just an abrupt stop for the 08. That's tough. Good thing we can drive away from this one in the safety of our bedrooms and our living rooms. But man, that's pretty cool. A pretty cool little utensil you've got here over at Pit Stop TV. We don't have that at Verdane. We don't have a teleprompter. That's neat.
I figured that was going to surprise you a bit. I don't use it all that often, but it comes in handy for times like those. And you know what else they can do? They can circle that Verdane TV logo. So if you're brand new here to Verdane TV, but you're regular at Pit Stop TV, make sure to check out Verdane TV. How many times can we say TV without getting confused? Check out Verdane TV on Facebook and all their social media. Paul, where can we find the channel?
Oh, we're all over the place. We like to take over the internet. We're over on YouTube. We're over on Facebook. I've got my personal Twitch. We do some streaming over there, but it's vice versa as well. Everybody tuning in from the Verdane TV world, shoot on over to Pit Stop TV. You and I have a very similar style, it seems like, and look at that, arrows and circles. We could start drawing. We could do, hey, can you get me a pen? Can we do tic-tac-toe?
I don't think we can via internet with you all the way down to Daytona, but we can go back green flag racing just a little over a third of the way left to go. Lap 48 complete, and they're crashing in the back all over. Cars littering the front stretch. Caution right back out. Creighton turned to the outside wall. It is a parking lot on the front stretch in Thompson.
So what that was, with a lot of these drivers were tuned in on YouTube, tuned in on Facebook. They had, they've got it on their phones, watching the stream here live with us. They saw that we have a teleprompter. This is a good opportunity to bust that thing out.
See if we can find something to, here we go. This will be a great opportunity. You're going to want to watch this red and black 78 car. Imagine I am DW. This red and black 78 car, that's kind of where we saw all of this start. It was actually a couple of cars ahead, but we saw the biggest hit come from Hopkins in the 78. He ends up turning the 77 of Creighton into the outside wall after some more contact. That's where all of this gets going. So now we can go back and we can re-highlight. We're going to watch now this black and green 35 on the restart. Just a bit slow and gets rammed into by the 11 car. I think that was just a chain reaction on the restart. Like you see guys in the back trying to play games, trying to get that jump. That's short track racing.
Short track racing at its finest. And you can see everybody lined back up 2 by 2. And one of the things I've noticed here at Thompson, here under the lights, it gets a little bit dark on one end of the racetrack. So that's definitely going to be something these drivers are going to be a little bit distracted with, something else that they're going to have to focus on. And you can see grabbing a gear, getting that thing turned back around and pointed in the right direction. But tough break for some of these guys towards the back. And Hopkins is up there in the points, up in the top 5. That's that red black 78 car. And unfortunately, with that action up in the front, there's no time to react and nowhere to go. There's the 35 car doing a little bit of lawn work. The 11 car joining him. The 77 up into almost into the outside wall. Looks like he got the binders down, but there's some more damage for that 46 of Eric Lurendu. I don't think he's taken that quick
He did.
fix yet.
He had just taken it.
So that's tough. That's going to have to come down pit road and maybe get some of that damage repaired. And there you see him. Started 25th and currently 26th. Made it up to 20th. Not quite having the night that he wants to in that 46 car. Trying to get out of Thompson here in one piece and move on to next week when we return to Verdane TV. And we've got a loaded schedule over there. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think we're racing next week. So lots of action going on next week and heading into the 2024 year. And I know you guys are busy over here at Pit Stop TV as well.
We've got a quiet little holiday break. This is actually kind of breaking it up a little bit and giving us some much needed racing. Yeah, we'll talk about that later on. Meanwhile, coming back to the restart zone, just over 20 to go.
And there you see it. Barney in the flag stand says go, go, go. We're racing once again here at Thompson. Quick couple of cautions here after a long green flag run to start this thing off, but it has not cooled down at all. The action absolutely intense. You can see the front three getting it sorted out. And the 12 car trying to get down underneath Prescott, and the 04 car drifts up just a little bit. The front four single file.
Prescott got a terrible restart. Kimball went through. Quadros followed, and now here comes DeCourcy. And the 04 might have something. No, door contact is going to go around. Just catches it, but your points leader goes around. Car 03, Nathan Wenzel, stacked up. Big crash. They're all over the place in the backstretch.
What's that term? We're stacking them up, and that's what we're doing here at Thompson Motor Speedway. Lots of damage for the 03 car. You can see sparks flying out of the back of that thing. Lots of cars damage, probably 6 or 8 cars picking up some more damage here, working a lap number 56. Less than 20 laps to go. Not ideal for some of these guys. Not enough time. Not a lot of time anyway. Oh, yeah, right front is totaled on that 03 car. Don't believe he's used that quick fix.
He has not yet. Yeah. That's going to be a fast repair needed for car 03. Let's take a look at how all of this happened down the backstretch. Second lap from the restart. This is completing that first lap when Prescott had that terrible jump, and that's going to play into this as well. Wenzel was trying to get down clear in front of Thompson, couldn't do it. Side by side there, they check up ahead of him. He runs in the back of the 04 car of Prescott. That chain reactions all of this, and he gets absolutely walloped by the 54 of Kyle Kenny.
Yeah, and Kyle Kenny already used that quick repair early under that first caution flag, so may be done for the evening. We'll see what the virtual pit crew can do there. And you can see just as we take a look at the slow motion shot, front four, they've got a good shot of this in their rear view. They're sideways from the 04. Great save for Prescott, using the 74 car kind of as a pick to get them sorted out, pointed in the right direction. But there's the calamity in behind. Mike Hopkins involved in this one again there in the 78 car. He's got damage, and there is some more damage as he gets, well, not quite bloop. There's a big hit for the 03 car. That's what tore up that right front. 54 in it as well. The 11, the 14, the Mobile 1 car. He's up into the outside wall. So another 6-8 cars picking up some damage here in this one.
That's a bit bigger than a bloop. Let's watch car 3 find his way through this. This is Dominic Lafleur. Remember him? He had some trouble earlier. Watch on board. He's going to miss a whole lot of action real quick. There goes Hopkins. He swerves the car around. That was a near miss twice.
That is some heads-up driving by the 3 car. How about that? Going where the wreck is, and then the wreck was gone. Kind of parting the seas, as it were. Going to be able to hold on for a couple of more laps here. We're going to cross the stripe for lap number 60. That gives us, carry the 1. That gives us 15 laps to go. Probably get the restart with about 13, 14 laps to go here at Thompson.
Yeah, we'll have, 16 across the line this time. We'll have 15 then for the restart so long as we get the 1 to go signal this time by. So while he isn't going to hold his finger out, we can at least watch here from the perspective of Barney the flagman. And we should, here in a moment, now be able to watch from the onboarding. Yes. Lights are off. 1 lap to go on this restart. That sets us up to 15 to go. Kind of a mad dash, almost a heat or LCQ length.
And we're lined up 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. And one of the things we're going to have to keep an eye on, the new leader, the 039, had a little bit of a blink issue that last lap by. We'll have to keep an eye on the connection for our new leader, the shipping machine, the 51, going to start second. And that's going to be a little bit different. Going to get that high side as the pace car dips on down for a corn dog and a Coke. And we look for Barney in the flag stand, throw in that green flag. 15, check that, 14 laps to go here at Thompson.
Side by side, Quadros gave it a stab on the top side. He's not going to find anything. Kimball, though, down low, might have something contact off into turn number 3, and that just shimmies the 43 out of here. He now makes contact with Prescott in the 04. There was calamity in the back, but we stay green.
Yeah, the 43 car giving a wave to the 04. May have used all 5 fingers, might have just used one. Went up there, tapped the door of the 74. Almost doing the same thing. Prescott getting tossed around up that high side.
Everybody moving the 04 out of the way. Contact there from the 008. Caden Roberts and JD Stockwell. Caution. Big junk him up in the back. JD Gerard, it looks like, involved. Ryan Carmen, part of it. He's parked and disconnects. Mike Hopkins, he's got a bunch of damage. Trouble everywhere.
All around the racetrack. Boss man DJ Gerard in charge of the league and in charge over at Turn 4 Podcast. Again, got to check those out next Tuesday night, off this week for the holiday, but great racing information all the way through the Northeast. Little onboard shot here with DJ Gerard in that double-aught machine, and you can see the action is intense in front of him, but looks like the wreck happened in behind. The 08 might have got a piece of it. We'll have to take a look at another angle of it there, but man, you can see a lot of these guys just shooting right on down into the grass to try and avoid that calamity.
It looked like the trouble was DJ Gerard, Mike Hopkins on the outside in the 78 car. That might, well, that's why. Hopkins gave room to the 08 and was a little too far down, got the double-aught. Trouble ensues.
Trouble ensues. That's the next t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to put it at that point. You've got cars left, you got cars right, cars center. One more look from high above. The 08 just gets the wall, checks everybody up. A couple are lucky to get by. Kyle Kenny got by, but others not so lucky.
How about that 03 car drifting down in the grass? How about that? That's some heads-up driving.
And he wasn't alone. Aaron Thompson was down there as well, but let's go on board with Nathan Wenzel, see how he got through it.
Oh, these onboard shots are great, and it's awesome when these drivers use those white gloves. You can see it out the windshield from the cars, from the stands, from up here in the cameras as well. And there's a great shot from off the back of the car. Grass flying everywhere. Regathers himself, points it in the right direction, and he could see everybody hitting the wall up on the outside. So not quite ideal for the 03 car, but doing what he can to try and get back up to the top 10.
Thompson a good view as well. There goes Hopkins in the air, and wow, that was close.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Close, but no cigar.
Thankfully, no cigar for once. I mean, that's the one time you don't want to be that close, and thankfully the 19 car got through it. A lot of cars starting to drop out of this one now. A lot of cars in the pit lane. Carmen and Laurendo are, Laurendo now exiting the pits. I think he might just have the car back together with some duct tape and glue. Carmen, though, it looks like he's going to be parked, dwindling our field down to 24 for the restart.
And there you see it, 2x2 all the way through. Pace cars going down at pit road one more time. 51 up top, the 046 down on the bottom side. A green flag flies once again. Check that, that's the 089 down on the bottom side. I gotta get these, or 039. I gotta get these glasses checked.
That was 9 to go. Cars left, cars right. Thankfully, no crashing yet. Gimbal, though, he's got trouble. Here comes Quadros again, side by side. Quadros not going out without a fight.
43 cars trying to hold on up on the top side. That's where the action's been. That's where the grip's been all night long. You can see the 74 going to jump up there as well. Here comes Prescott, and we know that 04 car is a little on the aggressive side here at Thompson. Going to try and muscle his way up into the top 5 on the outside, looking in right now, running P6.
Real close there with Corsi and Quadros. One more lap ticks off. Now Shippy purple with those worn tires. How's he do it? Contact there at a 2. Quadros and Kimball, they get into it. Big crash in the back. Hopkins involved again.
Nope, check that. Caution flag comes out here on lap number 69. Nice. Hopkins, not so nice. Not his night in that 78 car. He's been involved in probably 3 of the 4 or 5 cautions we've had here tonight. Not what he was looking for. Not the best points night here as well. I believe he came in 3rd, maybe 4th. Definitely up in the top 5 in points, but going to come down pit road. Might see if he's got a repair that he can maybe use. Might try and beat some of that sheet metal out and see what he can do here. Looks like we're going to get ourselves a little green-white checkered action here.
It starts ahead with the 3 and 35. Kyle Kenny gets forced into the 78, who had just taken his lone fast repair. Hopkins, 4th place in points coming in. Likely will not be so high in the standings after this race. Here's a look then at the 3 and 35 exiting turn 2 and how this all starts.
And you can see, we talked about that earlier, the 35 car got into the corner just a little bit too hot, and on 70 lap tires, you're not going to have as much grip as you had at the start of the race. So when you get in there too hot to trot down on the bottom side, you move up the racetrack, and that's why these guys are really trying to hold on to that high side. As we take a look here at the points after 4 races here in the Turn 4 Podcast Winter Series, Nathan Wenzel coming in as the leader, and there you see it, everybody up in the top 10 from New England. You talked about that before we took the green flag. Matthew Kimball in the 43 up in the top 5. The 04 car, that's why he's so aggressive here at Thompson. He's 3rd in points. Mike Hopkins, we talked about it, in 4th, and Daniel Sweeney 5th coming in here tonight. And after 4 races, only 10 races on the docket here for this very first season with this Turn 4 Podcast group. Tight points battle, especially in that top 4.
And guys that maybe haven't been in the conversation as much, Dylan Zulo, he's 9th right now. He can get some nice little points out of this. He's got to win on the season already. Watch out for car 16 on these last couple of restarts. Well, one more at least, maybe more, who knows. Guys like Cody Parker, let's see, he is starting to move his way towards, well, he's trying to actually come back from a bad day. He is 18th spot. DJ Girard, he's not in this group. Anyways, guys all over the place. Daniel Sweeney, he's now 9th. Zulo drops into 10th. Everybody is everywhere. This whole top 10 is going to shake up.
And we'll be able to take a look at the points on the social media outlets. Turn 4 Podcast over on Facebook. We'll have it over on Verdane TV as well. We're all over the place. Between Pit Stop TV and between Verdane TV, we're going to take over the internet. There goes the pace car once again. Going to get a green-white checkered attempt here. The 51 up on the high side. The 039 down the bottom, racing once again.
Natural green-white checkered. Shippey, Thompson, that's your top 2. Here comes Kimball trying to make it 3. He's going to shove the 12 up a little bit. No contact that time. If they get back to the stripe, it is 1 lap and official. Crash in the back. Will they get there? Yes. White flag displayed. No, there's the caution.
Yes, a couple of laps added to the boards. We're going to restack them, re-rack them once again. And man, oh man, that 78 car involved again.
More importantly, how about your points leader? Nathan Wenzel, he's a big part of it.
Yeah, that 03 car is, he's kind of a war of attrition almost here tonight at Thompson. Lots of damaged race cars throughout the field, except for the front 3 or 4. They've got a little bit of damage, but not too bad as we take a look at the replay. And you can see the 03 up on the top side just kind of packs into the back of the 12. The 008, I believe, is involved as well. Some bumper car action. The 3 car gets up, tags him, and there you see. How about that little simultaneous spin between the 03 and the 14? And, well, here comes the back end of the field. Tough to pass here at Thompson. Tough to drive through cars here as well when they're taking up the whole front straightaway.
That crash was artistic at one point. Here's the 008 up the racetrack at the 12. And you see the 03 kind of get hit by the 3 car, and there they go. The 03 and 14 twinning out of turn 4. Oh, boy.
You could throw DJ Girard in there. I think we had a triplet spin in there.
Synchronized spinning. It's never what you want at a racetrack, but it did look good for a second. There's the 08, Caden Roberts up the racetrack. I mean, big crash.
How about that shot? There's some more rubber on the racetrack. Getting a little bit slick here as we work lap number 77. Going to get an attempt here of once again at a green-white checkered, and a little onboard shot here from the double on DJ Girard. Up on the high side of the track, there you see a puff of smoke, and then calamity ensues, and it's really tough to get around the racetrack. Here you can see a great onboard shot spinning on around into the grass, and man, I don't know if the landscapers are going to be too happy with these guys here at Thompson Speedway.
Well, you know what? Thankfully, it's not like at Daytona where you get charged for each blade of grass you cut down. That is not a pretty bill if you have to go through the grass at Daytona. That is not a fun time. So, Paul, no touching the grass.
Yeah, that's a good thing to know. Ooh, there's a big hit between Hopkins and the points leader, the 03 car, and well, that's good to know because there's a lot of grass here at Daytona.
There is a lot in the ball field. I don't know if it's every blade of grass. Maybe you could test that theory with Tony Stevens if you maybe cut a few down. I don't think you should, but you could.
It definitely could. Well, maybe we'll have somebody make a little grass action happen there. But there you see the pace car turning those lights off once again. Going to give us an opportunity to re-rack, restack, lined up 2x2 all the way through. There you see Hopkins holding on to the tail end of the field. He's hoping for one more big wreck to try and make his way up through the field just a little bit and try and stop the bleeding here at Thompson. Coming in fourth in points and really struggling to get up through the field here. Coming in, getting a lot of action, but the wrong kind. A lot of damage on that 78 car. There goes the pace car once again, and we're waiting for Barney to let us know to go. There's Shippy in the 51 car up on the high side, going to get the start that he needs. He's going to slide out front of the 039 car.
Kimball and Quadros side by side. Important to note, this is our first green-white checkered officially contact between these two for third. Will we get this restart official to the flag stand this time? White flag displayed. It's official.
Flag going to end the race here. The 51 is Shippy holding on to the lead. You can see drifts all the way up the racetrack, making sure the 039 car cannot get there as they hit in the 45 cars around, but we're going to race back to the line. The 51 car is holding on to it in the middle. The 039 gets to the back bumper, doesn't quite have enough. There you see a little sideways for the 51, but tonight's winner for the Thompson 75 got to be that 51 car of Shippy. How about Rupert Thompson, the 039 quickest lap of the race is the last one with a 19.604.
That's rare, you see that on the last lap, but Thompson found something at the end. Meanwhile, Skylar Shippy in car number 51 will go to victory lane. Northeast home restoration there on the side of the car. I think that deserves a few burnouts. He's going to give it a shot in car 51, and he's maybe going to get it to spin around.
Yeah, going to try and do a little burnout in the grass. And we're going to park it right on the start-finish line and get a good shot of that 51 car for about a second. Going to hop on out and jump down and celebrate with the crew, and we'll take a peek at the finish, and we'll see if we can talk to some of these guys up in the top three here as well. But great racing here at Thompson, 75 plus a couple here, and great action all the way through as we take a peek at the end of the race, and we'll talk to these top three drivers here momentarily.
Look at what happened on the last lap. It was lap 81 officially. Side by side, that was the 45 and Aaron Thompson. 45 goes around, that's JD Stockwell in trouble in the back straightaway. The rest get away relatively okay. Slow there was Cody Parker at the end, but for the most part, that was the only trouble on the very last two laps of the race. Nathan Wenzel going to be way, way back in the field after all of this. That is trouble for our points leader. That is a big, big time storyline leaving Thompson this evening, as Paul, looks like we've got some drivers making their way up.
Indeed, we have. Going to make a stop down here in victory lane. The 51 car of Skylar Shippy climbing out of the virtual rig. Skylar, great run here tonight. Up in the top two all night long. Coming home with the W, with the trophy. Talk to us. What's going through your mind?
Thank you. Finally got it done. We've been fast pretty much every week, and we finally got it done, so good time.
There you can see one of the crazy stats there. Started first, ended first, 81 laps led for that 51 car quick all night long here at Thompson. What was kind of the mindset coming into this track? We saw a lot of the drivers early on kind of move up the racetrack, up on that high side. How do these cars handle on older tires?
Oh, they're just junk. This whole race was just saving tires the whole time. We knew it coming in. I did some practice early on, and you could junk the tires in 10 laps here if you wanted to. So it was just save as much as you could and hope it works out.
Kind of driving by the seat of the pants, and that's what we like to do. That's what puts on the shows here in the virtual racing world. Heck, even in the real racing world as well. Got to give you an opportunity here, Skylar, to thank anybody that might be out there watching, friends, family, sponsors. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
Salon Meraki, Northeast Home Restorations, Perkins, LaValle, Middleton, and yeah, anybody else who's out there watching.
Solid run here tonight. Coming home once again with the W in that 51 car. Fantastic race, Skylar. Congratulations. Go celebrate with that crew.
Thank you.
51 car coming home with the win. And Andrew, I think you've caught up with Kenny down there a little bit further on down pit road.
Well, so is this? See, this is where I'm thrown to the wolves here. Is this Kenny Thompson, car 039, Rupert Thompson?
Indeed, okay, it is.
There we go. See, I figured as much, being P2, car 039, fastest lap, last lap of the race. Kenny, how do you manage that with these tires as broken in as they were?
Yeah, just try to save tires for first 50 laps or so, and just got to keep the right front on it because these cars get tight as the run goes. So I don't know, giving it all it had there at the end, trying to catch Skylar, but he was just a little too good tonight.
You saw a lot of the back end of the 51 car, but what about out the mirror? Were you concerned at all in those last couple of restarts that maybe as you were trying to stay transfixed in the 51, try to pass him for first, that maybe those guys would get you from behind? Were you worried at all?
I wasn't really worried once we get going, but on the restarts themselves, just trying to get to the top and not lose another spot. You know, the bottom is not really preferred here, so just trying to get to the top was the hardest part.
And how much of that heads up on the restarts was caused by the fact that you had to restart on the bottom every single time because, of course, Skylar had the lead. He got to choose the outside, which is the preferred line here. How big of a deal was just that, having to line up down low?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a disadvantage, but yeah, with him having the advantage of both starting up top and being able to choose where he goes on the restart, it was going to be next to impossible for me to get by him on a restart, so it was just more of trying to get clear up behind him.
Well, Kenny, it's a spot shy of where you want to be, but congratulations. P2, still a very solid effort. R039 moving up in the points.
Yeah, thank you.
And Paul, I think then that gives, so we're going to have Tony Quadros P3?
Indeed we are. I was actually going to look at the sheet if we could find out which one of these drivers finished in third, because, man, the 12 and the 43 were side by side throughout the entirety of this 75, 81 laps, however many laps we ended up running here. But Tony Quadros in that 12 car, able to finish on the podium. Tony, heck of a race here tonight. Car looks relatively clean, but there was a lot of side-by-side racing between you and that 43.
Yeah, Matt's a great driver in real life and on iRacing. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, finishing where you qualified up in third. And what was the game plan coming into tonight? We've heard some of these drivers know that this place eats up tires like a cheese grater. Now, did you have, were you going to try and save early? It didn't look like you were saving as hard as you were driving.
Yeah, I tried to just kind of baby it a little bit on entry to save the right front. It seemed like the right front wore more than the right rear, but I didn't save hard. I just tried to baby it a little bit, and then I think lap 45, 50, that's when I just started really driving. And I think I kind of could run the bottom probably better than most, even though it was pretty much impossible to pass in the bottom. But I could hold my own until caution or until the checkered.
Making it look easy here tonight, finishing in a third, finishing in the money, as they used to say in short track racing. Who's out there watching? Who have you got to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just all the team, Greenslit Motorsports, my girlfriend, LFOD Motorsports, used car sales down in Windham, New Hampshire, and then Hideaway by the Bay, vacation rentals up on Lake Sunapee and Mount Sunapee.
And coming home once again in third here tonight, on to next week. Great run here tonight. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you.
And Andrew, put a fork in it. I think we're done here at Thompson, the racetrack, emptying out rather quickly here tonight. Skylar Shippey, Rupert Thompson, and Tony Quadros going to finish in the top three. There you see Matthew Kimball in that 43 car finishing in fourth. Jimmy DeCourcy there in fifth. Justin Prescott in the 04 car. Hard racer here tonight. Up and down through the field. He's going to finish in sixth. Dylan Zulo, Aaron Thompson, DJ Gerard making his way back into the top 10, and Daniel Sweeney going to round out the top 10.
Finishing 11th position, you'll find Andrew Harmon, car number 14, Eric Pomasco, kind of under the radar all night long, 12th spot. Rodney Huntoon finishes 13th. How about Garrett Benson there in 14th? Also quite night for car 4. Nathan Wenzel, though, points leader, 15th position. That's going to hurt. Caden Roberts comes home 16th spot. Cody Parker 17th. Sean Beaudreau, that is a bad place to finish, 18th position. He had a lot of trouble, as did all of these guys eventually in the back end of the field, like J.D. Stockwell crashed around on the last lap of the race. Mike Hopkins there in 20th. Trouble for those guys in the back.
Yeah, tough points night for the fourth place coming in. Mike Hopkins finishing there in 20th. There you see the 54, Kyle Kenny. Trouble early on, finishes a lap down there in 21st. Dominic LaFleur in the 3-car, trouble all night long, finishing 22nd. The 35 of Chris Lindquist. Ryan Carmen, Eric Lunder, and Mark Creighton going to round out the 26-car field here. A couple of drivers getting some damage early on and calling it quits early here at Thompson. A little bit more of attrition here tonight, but all in all, rather entertaining race.
Very much a war of attrition. Paul, good to have you alongside. Of course, you are supposed to be here realistically, with Vinane TV for these late models on Wednesday evenings. So really, it's a pleasure to me for me to be here with you. The addition here this evening of Pit Stop TV, definitely a good time on the broadcast. I do want to quickly, we'll of course get to Vinane TV's upcoming shows briefly in just a moment, but as far as what we have coming at Pit Stop TV, here's a look through our next couple of weeks. Again, it's kind of quiet until next week, January 4th, when we go racing on a Thursday evening at Watkins Glen International North American Racing League action. We are continuing on GT3 cars into the new calendar year of 2024. Then we take street stocks, still road course racing. This is a difference from the oval of Linear to the road course at Texas. In the infield there, Lucky Motorsport Solutions street stocks on a Tuesday evening, January 9th, before we go to Daytona with those North American Racing League GT3s. And of course, we are all over social media here at Pit Stop TV. Plenty of places to watch. But Paul, fill us in. Where is Vinane headed to next?
Well, we're off for a couple of days. This week is kind of our vacation week, even though we're doing some work down here for Car Week at Daytona International Speedway. But we'll be back on the airwaves next Tuesday night. Tim's Corner Motorsports coming on back with the Wingnut Production late model stock. Wednesday night, right back here with the Turn 4 podcast group with their late models. And then Thursday night, the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing YRD series coming back to us next Thursday night. And then we're hitting the ground running in 2024. 3-4 shows a night. 3-4 shows a night, if only, right? 3-4 shows a week. We've got a lot of big Tim's Corner Motorsports events coming up, and we're all over the internet as well. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. We're trying to take it over. Just do a quick search for Vinane TV. Well, pop right on up, and you'll be able to follow along with all of the action as we try to entertain the masses.
A shout out to those who support racing. In this case, 51 Designs, Backup Spotting Services, and Turn 4 Podcast, all doing so much for us, making sure we could get to the racetrack this evening. Of course, on our side at Pit Stop TV, a big shout out as well. Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, and CC's Business. Quickly, we're going to go ahead and thank those other groups who get us to the racetrack there on the bottom of your screen. But Paul, take us home.
Absolutely. Got to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. First collaboration of many between Pit Stop TV and Vinane TV. We're both going to be back on the air, and we're going to be interchanging boots here, I feel, here in the next couple of months. But we'll catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live.